Welcome back to the Tribal Lines podcast. I'm your host, Stephen Lupo, and today we are here with the Survivor Brantford Season 10 finalist and Survivor Brantford Season 11 returnee, Sara. Sara, how's it going?
It's going great. Thank you so much for having me, Steven. How are you?
Of of course, I'm doing really well. I'm excited to recap episode 4 with you, and I've been loving watching Survivor Brantford. Survivor Brantford has been so much fun to watch. We had Tim on a few weeks ago, and now we got you, so I'm really excited.
I'm excited to be here.
So I like the Survivor 50 buff. Where'd you get it?
Thank you. Speaking of our dear friend Tim, Tim got this for me for my birthday. It's such a sweet gift. It's my favorite color as well, orange, so a lovely gift. And because we're talking about 50, I figured I'd put it on. Though buffs are very tough to navigate, so we won't be on the entire time, but shout out Tim for this and shout out 50.
Uh-huh. Yeah, I know I gotta get myself a Survivor 50 buff. I don't know which one I'd get. Maybe the teal one. I don't know. But yeah, I have the only Survivor buff that I think I've gotten Survivor 44. That was at a watch party where they just were giving it out at the finale, which was cool. I have a Tika one, and then Survivor 47, I have the blue one. But now I've been getting it every 3 years, apparently, every 3 seasons, so I got to get 50 now.
47 was Rachel.
That was Rachel's season,
Okay,
yeah.
that's a good season.
So I have the blue one, so like Kyle and Gabe's buff.
I see, I see, I see. Yes. Oh, I know exactly what you're talking about. Got it,
Hmm.
got
Yeah, yeah. So yeah, I gotta get myself one. But we didn't recap episode 3 last week. I was very busy, couldn't find the time, but we're gonna be able to recap episode 4. Episode 3, pretty much what ended up happening, which comes into this episode, is Q was blindsided. Originally, they all thought it was going to be Angelina, but and Stephanie thought it was going to be her. Instead, they voted for Q. Q asked Mike White to vote for him, which in Q fashion, I loved that. If we were going to lose Q, I wanted something like that to happen before we lost them. But honestly, he was kind of like justified in a way. I forgot exactly what he was saying, but he kind of wanted him to vote that way because based on the numbers, the vote would have split, and so it could have been like a I don't know, like a 3-3-1 uh vote, and then on the revote, because Q was one of the people tied and he didn't already have a vote, then the people who was on his side would have had a 3-2-1 or a 3-2 majority in the revote. But what he didn't realize was in the past, I think it was Survivor 47, where if you Sam Sierra was able to vote for Sam, but Sam couldn't vote because he didn't have a vote. So it only is if both of them have a vote, then they both can't vote. But if one of them doesn't have a vote, the other person can still vote. So at that point, Q still would have went home because on the revote, they would have had the majority. So it was a smart thinking, but just a misunderstanding of the rules of the revote. And so either way, Q was kind of screwed. And now he's gone. I really think he was gone too early. Like I honestly, he made it further than I thought going into the season. I thought he was going to be like first or second boot, but after seeing him like be in a really good spot, really good alliance, like that tribe swap really screwed him. Like honestly, I think he would have been fine if there weren't three David and Goliaths on that tribe. I think that was what took him out because if it was just like a a bunch of different people from different tribes, like I think Q could have made something work. But once it was those three plus Emily Flippin, who was just close with Christian, like that was the majority they had, and it was really just Q or Stephanie. And I think it was that Mike White had a closer relationship with Stephanie. I think that's mainly why, and Angelina just didn't like Q. And I think Emily felt like Q was like kind of bossing her around, like telling her what we're gonna do. So yeah. What did you think about the Q vote?
Yeah, I was so sad to see him go. I originally in his first season didn't love him. He was a very eccentric character, but he grew on me a lot, genuinely. I was like, you know what? I get it. And this season, seeing him, I was ecstatic. So we lost such a great character so early. He's like confessional gold. So so sad to see him go. And I think your breakdown of the vote is so like it's very, very accurate. I think he definitely would have had maneuverability in other tribes if it was like a different swap, but he really got swap screwed in this one. So very sad to see such a big fun character go. We have to cancel Christmas this year because of that, but in honor of Q, I'll do it.
Yeah, we're gonna have to cancel Christmas. Yeah, or at least for all the people who voted him out.
Yeah, exactly.
And surprisingly, Aubrey didn't vote him out. I really wish we got Aubrey voting Q out. And like a confessional about that because like going into the season, knowing they were going to be on the same tribe after the whole like we're going after Mariah because she's just like Aubrey and we can't have Aubrey a like player in the game and to have them on the same tribe, I was so looking forward to that dynamic. So I wish if he went home that Aubrey was one of the people to do it, but unfortunately, we didn't get that, but I'm glad we got some of that on the original tribe, like the first couple episodes. Um,
Agreed, agreed. I wish we saw more interactions with them as well, but it looks like they had squashed their beef. If they hadn't?
yeah, it didn't seem like it was always like lingering, but it wasn't like, oh my God, we need Aubrey out, and Aubrey's like, we need Q out. It was, especially on Aubrey's side, because I think Aubrey kind of knew that it would not be a great idea to go after Q if he is like so well integrated, but also with the fact that I feel like she probably thought Q isn't that big of a threat and maybe try to target the threat, the like Genevieve, like the threats like Genevieve. Um, and that is definitely going to be something interesting to see in future episodes because we got next episode, two people going home, double tribal. And if Genevieve ends up going to tribal with Aubrey, I am nervous about that.
Me too. This is the tribe with Genevieve, Aubrey, Tiffany, and then the Honor Integrity Alliance, right?
Yeah.
Oh, Lord. Yeah,
Yeah.
I can see Genevieve getting screwed over in this tribe. Unfortunately. I don't want to see her go. I think she's played incredibly. I mean, girl got two idol. Wait, we don't have to jump into this episode,
Yeah, no,
but
we can talk about that. Yeah.
girl got two idols and didn't get to keep any of them.
I
I'm
know.
pissed.
Yeah, like Liz Wilcox. I'm pissed.
Yeah, dude, are you kidding me? And like, okay, also, I made a note of this. Take a shot every time I say Billie Eilish because they literally say it 4 times in 3 minutes. And Billie Eilish said nothing in return about Survivor. I don't know why they keep calling her out when she's given nothing.
I know. I realized that because I never was like looking for it, but when I heard about that Billie Eilish has not said a single word about this Billie Eilish boomerang idol on like social media or anything, I'm like, you're literally like the entire show. You're literally Survivor 50 and you're not saying a single word about it. Like you must not be that much of a super fan. Like, are you even watching?
No, literally, I was like, and they say her name like 4 times every episode. And I'm like, dude, are you kidding me? Like, it's such a, I think, a disservice to the fans to like have these, like, I mean, I get it, like, celebrities are cool and all that, but like, it's in the season of it's in the hands of the fans. And I don't think the fans want Billie Eilish Boomerang. Just call it
No.
a Boomerang idol, honestly.
Yeah, I feel like with it being in the hands of the fans, maybe they should have done like a vote or something. Like, here are all the super fans who are celebrities, like vote on who you want the idol named after or something like that. I thought that could have been fun. But like, yeah, I don't think any of the fans were expecting a Billie Eilish boomerang idol, and I still love Christian's reaction to it when he found it. He's like, "Hey, it's Billie Eilish," and he's like, "What?"
Yeah.
So good. I was like literally picturing in my mind before that episode aired, like, oh my God, if I found a Billie Eilish boomerang idol, like I would give the fans what they wanted and look so perplexed by the fact that Billie Eilish is starting off the advantage.
Yeah.
Um,
Same.
and I love
Well,
that
I
Christian
said
did that for us.
he did. And Genevieve, I would say, she's giving it as well. She's like, looks like me and Billie Eilish are best friends now. And I'm like, yeah, you guys are, but Billie Eilish is
Pretty
not
much.
acknowledging this.
Yeah. And the fact that she found it while trying to get Aubrey to not look like she goes out, sees Aubrey's looking for an idol, tries to get her back to camp so that she stops looking for an idol, and then on her way back finds the idol, not even trying to look for an idol. She's just doing it carefree, like finding an idol, sending it to people, like it's great that she's already found two. But like you said earlier, like I like the concept of the Billie Eilish boomerang idol, but also if you are finding an idol, you should be able to keep it.
You should.
I don't know. I feel like it should be like one of the like here like half idols. Like you have the idol, you can like have half of it and then give the other half to someone else and like if they're put together, then they could be one idol.
For
Um
sure. I mean, they did
or you get the full idol if the other person gets voted out or something like that. I don't know.
that in Islands of Idols, right? If I remember correctly.
What?
They did that in like Island of the Idols, or like they did it in some
They
they
did
had.
that, I think, in they did that in Winners at War, and they also did that in
Heroes, Hustlers.
no, I think it was tie season, I think. I think it was Brain versus
Oh,
Beauty versus
yeah.
Brawn
Oh,
2.
wrong.
Yeah,
Yeah.
co-wrong.
Okay, yeah. I also I like the idea of like the splits, but maybe you could like choose to give it to someone or keep it for yourself,
Hmm.
because like choose to like build trust and do that, but they don't know that if you get voted out, it goes back to you, or you get to,
Right.
because I think like giving them a choice also gives them some safety because they did find this idol, and like it also lets you like boomerang it. So I don't know. I think I'd like the person to have some choice, and it feels like they don't have much autonomy except in who they give it to, and I don't think that's like the I don't love that, and that's all I'm gonna say.
I feel like it would work better at the merge because the fact that you find an idol, but then you can't like use it, that's annoying. But like if you're at the merge, you can immediately like do something about it. Or maybe you could, if they just change it to pre-merge, but you can send it to someone on your own tribe also. Because
Yes,
like then it gives you more of an incentive as soon as possible to blindside that person with
yes.
the idol.
I think it's a
Because it,
great point.
yeah, because I I also love what Genevieve is doing with this idol. Like last time they were trying to build trust with Ozzy, and if Ozzy ends up going home because he's probably more likely to go home with an idol in his pocket, then it goes back to her. So she kind of did like best of both worlds. But this one, not only do I love that she's keeping it a secret so that only she knows that she's the one who sent it to Rizzo, but she's sending it to one of her expendable allies so that at least an ally has the idol, but it also makes it easier to blindside that ally because they're not going to see it coming, but they're also not someone who's in your long-term plan. So I feel like Rizzo is the perfect person to do it to. And she doesn't even know how perfect it is because Rizzo went the entire merge not playing his idol. If anyone's going to be blindsided by a group of really strong players, not 49ers, but like people who actually know how to get an idol out and know how to split a vote to make sure that happens, they will get Rizzo's idol out. He will either be playing it early or he will be blindsided with it in his pocket. So I think she doesn't realize how perfect of a move that was. And I think having Rizzo have it is going to be great for her game. However, I'm a little bit nervous for Charlie because Operation Bad Blood apparently might be happening next episode, and I think that's going to be Rizzo finding out that Charlie is after him. And will Rizzo use his social capital to try to get Charlie out, or will Rizzo use the idol?
I
Um,
think great questions. I think I'm gonna add a bit about Genevieve, real
yeah.
quick about what was I gonna say about this? Um, I should be taking notes as you're speaking as well. But yeah, I had a thought about Genevieve, and it blanked on me. So I'll
That's
just go
okay.
to
You can come back to it.
and Rizzo. I think Rizzo getting the idol is incredible. He's known for his theatrics, and it's super fun. I'm excited to see how it plays out in Survivor 50. Um, And when it comes to Charlie and Rizzo, I think they are that beef I love. It is such a incredible new era beef. I think I made a comment on it. You can get two like new era strategists who did very well in their own seasons beefing. It's like kind of they're two sides of the same coin. They're both like similar build, similar character type, I would say, but they're like at odds with each other, which is like really exciting. I also am in love with Rizzo. I want this man to go so far. And he's charming. Look at the way he charmed Colby. He has he has Cerie saying Riz God. He won the talent show. He does a Mickey Mouse voice. Are you kidding me? That man can do it all. Um, and I'm happy that he has some safety now. I'm excited to see how this character continues to go throughout the season.
Yeah, then we're completely on opposite sides of this beef because I am in love with Charlie, and if he goes home because of Rizzo's idol, I'm gonna be so upset. Charlie was so robbed. I think he's the most robbed out of any winner, any non-winner ever, because in the final tribal. Like, the fact that Maria didn't vote for him, I feel for him so bad. But also, he's going. His entire storyline is just him being upset about Maria.
Literally,
Not voting
it's
for him and being scared that Rizzo will do the same. And it's unfortunate about that because I was always curious when watching the episode, like, why are you saying that Sophie's your number one when she
Savoy.
wasn't? Like, Savannah was your number one, but all of you guys were like number ones. Like, you were all working together in the Trace Leches alliance. But I realized that
They
it's
wanted to downplay.
because what?
They wanted to downplay the relationship and 50.
Exactly. They wanted to downplay the relationship with Savannah, and he was already doing that with people. So
Mhm.
even though Savannah was out of the game, he can't just switch up and be like, "Oh yeah, no, I was lying. Like I actually had a really close relationship with Savannah." So he had to keep feeding into it. But I guess he just didn't realize how bitter Charlie would be, and making sure that mistake never happened again. Kind of like Joe. Like Joe and Charlie, their entire gameplay this season is making sure
Trauma.
that the mistakes of last season do not happen again. And I think that unfortunately is closing Charlie's mind, and he's much better of a player when he's open to so many different possibilities. Like in his season, he had alliances with everyone, and he can go any which way, whichever was the best way for him each round. And this time, he is so dead set on Rizzo because of this, and I think that's going to hurt his game. But I really hope it doesn't, and I really hope Charlie somehow is able to stay safe going into next episode.
I very much agree with this. I think their pasts are haunting them to a detriment, you know.
Yeah,
I think you do have to come in and learn to play open, but I think that's like the fun of a returnee season, right? That like they have all these stories that we're human. Of course our past is gonna haunt us, you know? Um, so I love that these like past storylines are coming to like constantly like affect the narrative. But it is also like a little sad to see because you're like you know Charlie's a great strategist when he's not in his head like this. You know, speaking
exactly.
of Charlie and Maria, I know you didn't get to recap last episode. One thing about last episode, my love, Rizzo, when he asked Charlie a fan question of like, do you and Maria still speak? Come on, that was golden. You're like, he's asking the real questions everyone wants the answers to. And then
Really,
they
seriously.
answered. And they kept it, they aired that. I'm shocked it made it onto like the cutting room floor, you know? But
Hmm.
yeah, I mean, it's not just like his past haunting it. I think Rizzo asking him that also is like I rubbing salt into the wound more, and I think that's adding to their like beef.
Hmm.
And
And
Rizzo's just being himself. He's just like trying to. I don't think he's understanding that there's beef happening right now.
yeah, no, definitely not. Rizzo is just like in his own world. Like he has no idea that there's beef happening right now. Charlie is like so dead set on it.
His
Um,
mortal enemy.
and what?
His mortal enemy, as you said.
Yes, yes, seriously. And it's crazy because Rizzo probably thinks right now Charlie is his number one ally, which is wild. Um, but yeah, I feel like Charlie, I understand not wanting the same mistake to happen again, but it's he did say that no matter what, he's gonna vote for the winner, who he thinks is the best player of the season. Charlie, use him as a close ally and then just be the best player at the end, he'll vote for you. Number one or not, if you played the best game and you deserve to win the game, then you're going to get his vote. Maria Maria didn't vote for the best player. Maria just wanted a woman to win, I feel like, because she was like the spark in her eye when she won the fire making challenge. Like, what do you mean? Like, you are best friends with Charlie, who played in an exceptional game, and just because Kenzie won in fire, like, what if Charlie was in fire? Would you have then voted for him because of he won fire? Um, and so I don't know. I feel like it's not the same. He's making it seem like Maria voted for Kenzie because Kenzie played the best game. And I think Charlie does know that he did play the best game and that it was not like Maria. I think it was Maria also being a little bitter that Charlie was able to get her out before she was able to get him out. Um,
I think that's a big part of it. I think it's
yeah.
just that took over her. I mean, I would argue that Kenzie played a great game as well. I don't
Oh,
think
yeah, absolutely.
pick as Charlie's for sure, but I think, she put the time in with Ben. Like she was like, there when he was having panic attacks. And I think those small things, yes, strategy matters a lot, but those small moments affect like human beings rationalize emotions all the time, you know?
Hmm.
And I think those small emotional moments are enough to like put someone like a little bit over, and have them vote for. So like, yeah, she played a great game, but I think Kenzie, I don't know if she deserved the win, but she got the win, and that therefore she was a deserving winner, right?
Yeah, and that just proves to everyone how important it is to have a good social game.
Yes,
Because
very
like
much.
Charlie did have a good social game, but Kenzie's was exceptional. Kenzie was on the wrong side of the vote a lot, but she made people want her to win the $1 million so much. And while Survivor should be a mix of both the social and the strategy, you also want to give your $1 million to the person who you think will like benefit the most from it. And for me, I would always be like, okay, the $1 million is the prize for playing the best game. I'm not even thinking like, oh, this $1 million could change your life. I'm thinking you played the best game, therefore, congratulations, you get $1 million. But I know that that jury, I feel like, was very like, I want to vote for the person who deserves the $1 million the most, not who necessarily played the best game. And that's going to go to the person who had the best social game. And Kenzie had a better social game than Charlie, and that's what the jury felt like was the most important. And that's also a big thing about these seasons. You want to make sure you understand who the jury wants to vote for,
That's huge.
and that's the thing. And that's why I think Charlie is a little overlooking Rizzo right now because Charlie had a jury of people who wanted to vote for the person who deserves the money the most personally rather than gameplay wise. Rizzo is I will vote for the person who played the best game. And I feel like that should make Charlie want to keep him in the game because if you play the best game and he's your number one ally, that's a locked vote, like guaranteed. It's
For sure.
just so I feel like this might come back and bite Charlie really badly.
Well,
And I
unfortunately, sorry, could
uh,
you keep saying?
yeah, I just think he should want to work with Rizzo because I feel like they would be a very great duo in this game, and I think they can make it very far together. And I do think they would vote for each other in the end if they, played the best game. So
I very much agree. I would love to see them working together instead of being at eds. And I think based on like the edit what's happening and like the narrative, I think Charlie is losing this battle. Personally, just based on the fact that he is pushing this and Rizzo's so unaware of like this beef, it kind of seems like it seems like almost like the foil to Aubrey and Genevieve, in many ways. But yeah, I think that unfortunately, based on my read, I don't. I'm sorry to you because I know you want your man to win, but I think my love is gonna win this one.
I unfortunately do also, and that's not good. But I don't know. It's also going to be interesting because we're talking so deeply about this Charlie versus Rizzo beef, but we're not thinking about Sari is this amazing player that so many people want to get out. Could it just be like Charlie versus Rizzo as a smokescreen and Sari gets targeted or Devins gets targeted? Because apparently looking back at the preseason interviews, almost everyone on that tribe said they didn't trust Devins going into the game. So there's Devins is a possibility too. What we're not thinking of, Suri is a possibility. D is also a winner. There's a chance that somebody wants to take a shot at D. Um, so there's a lot of options here, and that's also the sucky part about Charlie and Rizzo going at each other because, if they didn't, I don't think either one of them would be a target.
Yes,
Um,
agreed, agreed. I think it's a good way to put it. I think it's similar thing I think happened to this tribal council. We'll get to that eventually. But
mhm,
yeah, I there's so many better options I think than two of them. I mean, yeah, Rivet like Devon's
mhm,
is right there, you know?
mhm. I
Also,
also wonder if the old Teal tribe, who is like got majority right now in their this new tribe, if they all want to stick together, what if Suri uses her extra vote and is able to maybe pull in one other person, like, or possibly even tie the vote, or they can do like a split vote or something with Rizzo's idol. Like, I don't know how exactly that could all work because I know Suri wants to keep it a secret, and Rizzo probably wants to keep his idol a secret after last time. Um, but I don't know. Something could happen with that extra vote, or if they stay in these same tribes for another round after this double, then if Suri is on the bottom, maybe Suri could possibly use that extra vote. So I'm definitely excited to see how they can use that extra vote. The one thing that I feel like should be changed about the extra vote advantage is that it can be used on a revote. Because if you are trying to tie it, then it's going to do nothing for you if they just revote again and you can't use the extra vote. I feel like the extra vote should be an extra vote for the tribal council rather than just for the first vote. Because if Suri uses it and it's a 4-4 tie, on the revote, it doesn't matter. Suri's still now in the minority.
I agree with you. I think it should be. I think it's a good point. Because I don't think I've seen it being used for a revote, but I think it should be used for revote. That's a good point.
Yeah. So I feel like extra votes are only good if there is currently a tie and you need to get over that hump. But if you're in the minority, unless you have a steal a vote, it might not be able to help you as much. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see how it's used, and also I feel like an extra vote never had to be used in past seasons for a tie vote scenario where you had to see if it would be used on the revote or not. So I'm curious if they did change the advantage to allow that to happen. Um,
Only time will tell.
Only time will tell. We'll see. Um, but yeah, let's talk about the immunity challenge where we get exposed that there is a special reward, the best reward of in Survivor history. We have Zach Brown coming in to spearfish for them, catch these huge fish with really cool spearfishing gear, honestly. I thought they were just gonna use the same gear. I didn't know there was like so much better gear that was able to be used. I thought that was pretty cool to see. But do that, cook them the fish, and then sing them some tunes. I really did love this reward, but they overplayed it way too much. Like it was literally like half the episode. I loved the music. Honestly, if I was in that reward, I would be over the moon happy. Like that would have been such a nice break from the game. And I do think it was a great reward, but I think they way overplayed it. They gave Zach Brown Band, I think, what was it? I think like the fourth most confessionals or third most confessionals on the out of the entire episode.
Tiffany has had less confessionals entirety of the season than he did in that one episode.
Yep, that is crazy.
Yeah, I'm let's not spend too much time on this either because I don't want to
Hmm.
spend a lot of time on Zach Brown, but
Me
I
neither.
was not very happy about that. I host a watch party in New Haven to watch Survivor at a bar.
Yeah.
And I was crashing out at this watch party because I was like, why are we spending 20 fucking minutes? Sorry to curse, I don't know if it's allowed or
No,
not.
you're good. You're good.
On Zach Brown when we have legends in this season and we can't get airtime for them. So I'm gonna go on a quick little tangent here, or like a vent or like a rant. This challenge happened. We have an hour left. My friends and I are watching and we're like, they must have a double boot this episode. They must have a council and then a challenge and another council
Hmm.
because like, this is so soon. Only for them to spend 20 minutes on Zach Brown, and we're like, we're here to watch Survivor, not a Zach Brown concert. And I'm sure like it must have been great for the players. As you said, if you were there, you would have loved it. And I'm sure it was a great break from the game and relaxing. Yeah, but we're not the players. We want to see them, and we don't want to see that.
Uh-huh.
I was very upset about this. And like the best reward in history, I would argue the Shaolin Temple in China was a lot better than this. Sick as hell, sleeping in the Great Wall as well. I love the rewards in China. The
Yeah.
bar when Colby and Jerry went to go hang out, the volcano, like there's so many more. I
The
think
best of the sanctuary
yeah, the best of the sanctuary. But like, I don't know.
where good things happen.
Yeah, I really just the one thing that I liked of the reward was Coach's reaction. You know, Coach is gonna give a fucking hilarious tidbit, and he's like crying, talking about how Zach Brown's incredible, just as much how much he loved Jack and Jill. I thought that was a nice like bit, but outside of that, I was very disappointed. I mean, I think partly that's part of the reason why this episode is the lowest rated episode of Survivor.
Yeah,
Like,
that's actually crazy. I did not expect that at all. And but
no,
also like how I'm confused how it could be so low rated when you don't know that this is going to be such a big segment. I guess maybe people who found out like is it lowest rated because of like who actually watched it live?
I think so. I think usually ratings come out after it's like it's live ratings, right?
Yeah.
Usually the Nielsen rating system does it, right?
I
So
guess
I
people
think
just knew that it was going to be like, or maybe they just dropped off once they started seeing like a lot of Zach Brown band. They're like, I'm done watching.
that potentially could be it. I think I just think people expected to watch Survivor, and like they're not
Right.
watching Survivor, and of course they're gonna be disappointed. And I'd argue there was so much great content in this episode. We have the starts of like we have like Rizzo Charlie Beef continuing. We have Genevieve Aubrey continuing. Like low key Aubrey was I didn't love her this episode. Her negative energy was not my favorite. Like um. We have an incredible 3-2-1 split vote in Tribal. You have all these things, and you spend 20 minutes on Zach Brown. Not just that, but the challenge itself was also like, it was intense. And like, I don't know, I think we could have spent so much more time on other things. And
Yeah.
I get it. Like, I get why it's rated low. And it's unfortunate that in such a great episode with such a great boot, we spend so much time talking. And like, the thing people are gonna remember most is the Zach Brown aspect of this.
I
That's so
also think
unfair to the
it's
contestants.
interesting with the fact that there's a double next episode. So there's going to be less time on the people going to tribal. Use the time that you used with Zach Brown Band to set up the possible votes that are going to happen next episode so that you can show more strategy time in the upcoming episode. The fact that there's two tribes going instead of only one. So, I mean, that was also a botched opportunity. Like, what if they don't show that much strategy next episode? We're all going to be thinking like that could have been used instead of Zach Brown Band. And
We
speaking of
are going to be
which,
thinking. Like, there's
what?
no doubt in my mind that we will be thinking that,
Yeah,
Like, I don't
right.
even think it's a possibility. I think it's a certainty because, like, double boots it's going to be a lot, and you're going to have to fit all that in 90 minutes. And you had 20 minutes. I watched it again today, and like I had it
Uh-huh.
without ads, and like, it was exactly 18 minutes spent on the segment. That's a large
Wow.
chunk of time.
Wow.
So,
And I
so
honestly, there was a lot of that time was not even the reward. It was just Zach Brown spearfishing.
yes, literally.
I
Like,
feel like
okay.
that honestly did not need to be put in. Like, I feel like the reward itself, you could have just shown like him come in with two fish and be like, yeah, I caught these. And then bang, that starts the reward.
Also, why are we watching Zach Brownfish with all this equipment and this gear and not watching our man Ozzy fish? Like he fished, he got eight spearfish with far less equipment, not in the middle of the ocean. I'm sure he went out by himself and got it. And we're watching Zach Brown. Show me Ozzy spearfishing, dude. That's like 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 getting back to like who he is. It's Dolphin Boy, and
Yeah.
it's a shame we got to see Zach Brownfish and not Ozzy fish. He caught the eight fish, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I know. And something that I'm also curious about, which I feel this way every episode, and they always disappoint, and I'm so confused. What are we doing about the timing? This is going to be our first double
Mm.
boot. other than like the medevac, but like they didn't expect the medevac to happen. This is going to be the first double, and it's only a double. So what are we at right now? We had if it
20?
was 4 episodes, that means we had 5 people go home, so that's 19, right?
Hmm.
So this is now going to be yeah,
17
so
after
there's
5.
19 left, so there's going to be 17 left after episode 5. There's 7 episodes with 17 left. How are we getting to the final 3? We need to have a double boot every episode at that
Yeah.
point.
I think it'll be probably a triple boot at some point. And I think it's such a disservice to fans, you know? Again, like you're speeding up the pace and like when all these people are there, you're spending 20 minutes on Zach Brown. Like, are you kidding me? And like this also scares me to what's gonna happen with Mr. Beast. First of all, I hate that man. Um, Full offense.
Really? Why?
I just like I don't think there's any emotion behind his eyes, quite honestly. I like I don't watch his videos, but like the one or two I've seen, it's just like there's nothing there.
Uh-huh.
I look into his eyes and I'm like he feels nothing. Um and I don't know, we don't have to get into my hate. This is a Survivor podcast. Why does Sara hate Mr. Beat podcast? But like I don't know. He also has great a lot of good to the world. Don't get me wrong. He's done a lot of good things to the world. I'm just not a big fan of him. But I really don't want them to spend any more than 30 seconds on this man. And I worry that they will. And if
Yeah, they will for sure.
that deserves to be the lowest episode of Survivor rated ever. I will put all the ratings in myself if that happens.
That's so funny. Yeah. I mean, I think I know what the Mr. Beast thing is going to be, and
Auction, maybe.
I don't love it. There seems to be in the beginning where it like shows all of the names of everyone from the cast, like the like the beginning promo, every episode. Um, it shows in between certain people a coin. And Beast Games has a coin every season where it pretty much, if you have it in your possession at a certain point in the game, you can flip it for the chance of doubling your prize pot. So
Oh,
I think they're going to auction off the coin to where if you make it to like final 5 and you still have the coin in your possession, you can flip it to possibly make the prize $2 million. So that is going to maybe make people want to keep that person in the game until final 5 so that they could possibly win double the money. And that's almost like having a super idol in a way.
yeah.
So I don't really like super idols, so I don't know if I'm gonna like this specific twist. Um, I think it could be interesting if you auction that off for like 2 rounds. Like, oh, what if the auction happens at final 10? Like, okay, if you get past final 8 and make it to final 7, then you can flip it. Like something where it's only a few rounds and there's still plenty of rounds where you can vote that person out. I think bringing it all the way to final 5, where you just need to get past one more round in order to be in fire. Um, I think if they make it that might be a little too much power. So we'll see. What I thought should have been the whole Mr. Beast thing, because he did have a briefcase, and maybe he still will do this. I don't know, but I think it should be $100,000 in the briefcase,
Whoever
and
comes out now.
whoever like wants to give up their vote at the next 2 tribal councils can
Mm,
get $100,000 right now. And if there's multiple people, then you just, draw rocks for it or something like that. Or you could like use your auction money to bid on the $100,000, knowing that you would still lose your vote. And then that also might make it more fun for the auction to have people actually bidding for things, not having to lose all their money, and that's how that somebody will lose a vote. Because the last 2 auctions, so glad the auction's back, but the twist where you need to get rid of your money because you don't know when it's going to stop and you don't know if you have the most money you're going to lose your vote. I think that defeats the purpose of people bidding against each other for a certain item. Whoever has the most money is just going to bid for the item. It's going to be all my money sold, and that's it. And I feel like that's the auction is not just seeing them eat good food. It's seeing them how much are they going to bid for this food item? How much do they truly want it? Will they save it for a possible advantage? Like that's the kind of thing that I like about the auction. So I really hope that the Mr. Beast twist is what causes someone to lose a vote rather than whoever has the most money at a random point in the auction loses their vote.
For sure. Agreed. Agreed. I think it's a good analysis, but that's like a couple episodes away, so I'm intrigued to see how that plays out.
Hmm. Yeah. And something also interesting with the whole Zach Brown ban, I think this is the last thing we could say about it, and then we'll move on to Tribal, is D is heartbroken. D is in love with this man,
Dude,
changed her life, changed her brother's life.
yeah, I mean, I think it's you've not seen that reaction from Dee yet. She's like known to be this like really cutthroat player, very dominant. So seeing her like kind of have this emotional moment, I think very much humanized her, in my opinion. Which was nice, but also I was like, girl, stop crying about Zach Brown. Like it's Zach Brown. Oh my God. I don't care for country music either. But I was like, oh, if I was there, I'm glad. I think Camilla and I are probably kindred souls in one way because I don't think that girl would have enjoyed that. There's a reason there was no reaction shot of Camilla during any Zach Brown segment. Girl was not giving any. But yeah, I feel for her, and I'm sure it's really tough to be like a week out. And it's like, this is something who's you meant a lot for. But yeah, she was clearly a big fan.
Yeah. And in this immunity challenge, it was a complete blowout. Uh, Pink didn't even get to their puzzle, which I
No,
thought this was going to be a close immunity challenge because usually this type of challenge where you have to like spell it out with all the blocks is something that does take a while. But at the same time, it does take a while. I feel like more so for um when it's an individual challenge compared to like the tribe, because then the whole tribe can help. I think they changed it from last time they had it in 46, where I think they made the blocks maybe a little bit lighter or something. I don't know exactly, but it seemed to go by a lot quicker than I expected and complete blowout.
yes. Yeah, it was funny when Emily was like, "We came short, girl. You came long. There was you got you there was you had no shot." And that challenge, I don't know. I actually wrote some notes on this challenge. One, I'm not sure. There's a shot of Jonathan carrying Camilla on his back swimming. Like it's a really fun. When I rewatched it, I noticed it, and I was like, "That's hilarious." Also, like I
Classic Jonathan.
classic. I wasn't a big fan of him, but honestly, I am so impressed at his like just feats of strength. The way he like flipped the boat, like that man is just like a true what's that? True David, no Goliath, Goliath.
Goliath, yeah, true Goliath, yeah.
Goliath. But it was so sad watching Vatu do the challenge because they were like, 1, 2, 3, push, and nothing would push. There would be no movement. Which made me think, I'll say one quick real thing. I just wish they had more diversity in challenges. I think the challenges these days are all like strength, then puzzle. And like looking back in old Survivor, there were things that were like about like coordination, about memorization, about like other aspects of like I don't know, puzzle solving skills that there's a kite flying, which is not great, but like even like Cook Islands has had one where you're on a ship and you're like putting cannons in water, right? There's like a bunch of ones that aren't stale, and I think a challenge has become stale in this because the
I
same
agree.
team loses constantly if you don't have a big man. Like
Yeah.
they had Joe, and like one of them had Joe and the other one had Jonathan. Of course they're gonna win. You have Mike White and Ozzy as your strongest men. You're not making it through this, right? So part of me is just upset at the lack of diversity in challenges because I think that would also just bring more like different tribes going to tribal and like more variety in the show. And right now I think we're lacking that. That's just
Hmm.
my thought.
No, I 100% agree. I definitely think they should have more diversity and not have just like strength and then puzzle. I feel like it's always like that. I think, I mean, Australian Survivor does do a lot of strength, but they also like cast a ton of like really strong people. But even though they do that, the diversity of the challenges is like very widespread. Like they don't really do the same challenges all the time. Like sometimes instead of ending in a puzzle, it ends in like throwing things at a target. Um, it could be like a team challenge where like maybe it's like a duo, like you have to partner with a duo and like hold like a block up with your legs or something like that. Like just like something a little bit different where it's not just like obstacle course and then puzzle. Or at least if there's a puzzle, maybe have it be something more strategic, like rather than just like, okay, like this is a jigsaw puzzle that you need to solve, have it be like a large slide puzzle or something like that, which maybe can is a little bit different than just a classic like jigsaw like at the end of a challenge. Like, I
Oh
don't
my
know, just
gosh.
stuff like that.
I do puzzles a lot. I love puzzles, like jigsaw puzzles. I am not good at slide puzzles. They are much different skill sets. You know, you're so right. Like even
Hmm.
the diversity in puzzles is so important, and we don't have that. So no, I think it's such a good point. Yeah, I don't know. I think the lack of diversity in challenges really upsets me.
Yeah.
So that's we
I
can move
also
on.
think if it was swapped, maybe if they tried to do like a puzzle that was decently easy to complete and then an obstacle course, and whoever gets the obstacle course done first wins. Something
Yeah.
like that.
There's
That
so
could
much
be
they could
interesting.
do. I mean, like you think about like old challenges, it's just like there's a gajillion options and like they just keep reusing the same ones. I also think partly because it's because they want to do cost cutting measures and they can reuse like challenges that you did in the past and like repurpose them. But like I don't know, it's just not it all blends together eventually. You know, like you could like think back to old Survivor and think of like really unique challenges. You're like, wow, that was a fun one. Oh, that was interesting. And like I don't think I can say the same in the last 5 years. Like the one challenge I remember was like the big ball one. They're like, and everything else is just like, okay, it's the same thing over and over again.
Yeah.
But this
So,
challenge, real quick, the shot of them crawling through the net is devastating.
yeah,
I felt so bad. That must be humiliating. Oh my
I
God.
know. I know that was rough. And they were so behind and yeah, seeing them like everyone's done already. They're still in the net. That was rough. And then we take them to tribal,
Mhm.
and all the strategy was honestly my favorite strategy of the entire season because I love the strategy where there's three names up for elimination. One of them is never even talked about the entire episode, and it just goes from one being the vote to I don't want that, I'm going to change it to this, and then someone being like I don't want to do that second option, I'm going to change it to this, and it just keeps
Mhm.
spiraling. I remember that happened with Genevieve with the whole Keyshawn vote, and it's happening again here where first Ozzy is dead set on
Angela.
Angelina and is pulling in Stephanie for that. Stephanie's on board, trying to pull in Christian and Emily as well to be those four people. Then Mike knows about this, super tight with Angelina. No, we're not doing Angelina. Let's do Emily. But in order to do so, we need Christian's vote. Christian has Emily as one of his closest allies, which I feel like Mike should have known, but like thinks is like, okay, well, the Goliath people are closer with Christian than Emily. So of course Christian's gonna protect Angelina over Emily. And so Mike wants to do that. I think Christian was down to do that until Mike said
The Gabby.
that the Gabby thing, that she is your Gabby. And then he was like, well, maybe you're right, but the fact that you were able to say that and get this emotional reaction out of me that I haven't had for 7 years means that you know where to, with the right spots to hit. And you have the opportunity, the ability to persuade so many people in this game to do exactly what you want, and they will feel bad about doing any other option other than the option that you suggested. And they're not even going to think like, oh my God, it was Mike who like changed my mind. They're just going to think, okay, that's a good point. I'm making this decision for myself, not realizing that Mike is pretty much making it for them. And so it was very smart of Christian to clock this, and then out of nowhere, nobody even thinking Mike was an option, Christian's like, let's go after Mike. I think this was such a beautifully crafted plan. But two things I wanted to bring up with you and see your thoughts on is one, how was Stephanie so easily persuaded to do this plan? First of all, and second of all, um, do you think this was a good move for Christian to take out Mike compared to Emily?
I'm so glad you asked these things. These are like almost half my notes are about these exact like topics, right?
Hmm.
So I don't have an answer, but I was like kind of confused. Wait, let me find, where am finding this? I was, it seemed like Stephanie is just going with the flow with whatever the last person who spoke with her is saying.
Hmm.
Right? She goes, okay, Angelina. Okay, Emily. Okay, Mike. It didn't seem like
Right.
she was driving anything in any way. It doesn't seem like she has much influence or sway in what's going on. She's just going along with it, right?
Yeah.
So I'm also like, I'm wondering why she ended up with Mike as well. Like, did Christian not speak with her, or like did Mike not check in with her like before the tribal council or something? Why did she end up voting Mike? I like, maybe Christian's argument was just more appealing. But yeah, I was a little surprised by that, especially because Stephanie and Ozzy, I assume, were kind of working together, right? And if Ozzy enjoy like wants Mike around, like how did she end up there? So
Hmm.
I just think she's just going for the last person who told her to do something. Honestly, I don't does not seem like I'm sure she was a good player, but I think she's getting outplayed right now, in my opinion.
Yeah.
And
I also
second,
think it's interesting because I thought I remember last episode Mike saying that he's friends with Stephanie outside the game. So I'm surprised if I think if I'm remembering that correctly, or they
I
have
think
like some
it's
sort of
just
relationship.
Ozzy, Ozzy, Christian, and Angelina are the only ones he knew, I think. I saw some of his exit press, and I think he said
Oh,
that.
okay. All right, then
Yeah.
never mind. Because for some reason, when I was thinking of the episode, I was thinking like, oh wait, aren't don't they know each other somewhat? Or but I guess not.
Yeah, maybe they do. I don't know. I don't remember hearing that though. But on the second thing, is this a good move? I think this is a horrible move, honestly. I think I actually wrote this. I wrote the 3-2-1 vote. I'm like, is Christian doing this vote to do a 3-2-1 vote because it's like an incredible baller thing to pull off, or because it's the best move for him?
Right.
And I'm like, I don't know if it's the best move for him. And I laid out why I don't think it's the best move for him. One, Mike White's an incredible shield, right? He is known to be this person. Or this on, Mike White is a writer, and his stories he's written is all about like motive and character. They're very character-driven stories, I would argue. And he understands people and their motives, I think, unlike anyone on this island. So he's able to pinpoint them with the Gabby thing, right? So very dangerous in that way, but he's a danger, and you can kind of like almost play around knowing the way he's like. Whereas Emily is so chaotic. She's just like Chaos Cass rebirthed, like
Yep.
I can't think of the word, but like come back into the game. So and like very unreliable. She's shown you like already that she like twice. Once with like telling Q and Stephanie that Aubrey is an idol, and second with telling
Right.
Ozzy about what's going on. So I'm like, you have this very unreliable, chaotic person who it's hard to play around chaos, and you have this person who is sticking by you, and is dangerous, but not in a chaotic way. So I don't know if it's actually good. I think he has way too much heat on him. He's been driving the pre-merge to a point where I think it's going to bite him in the ass. Um, yeah, that's kind of I don't think it was a good move, honestly. That's kind of my couple thoughts uh on the move. And I had something else. I had some other bit, but it'll eventually come to me. But those are my couple thoughts. What about you?
Yeah. I keep going back and forth on it. I think I'm leaning more towards it being the right move for Christian, but Mike making a great point. Now, I don't think that Emily is someone who Christian should go very far with, but I do think that right now, Emily is Christian's closest ally, who he trusts the most not to backstab him. I think Emily could go after Christian in the at the merge, absolutely. But I feel like pre-merge, I think Emily knows that she can't. vote out Christian because that is someone who she knows will have his back, especially after the whole screw up with the idol. The fact that she didn't trust Christian, told everyone about the idol, and then realized that Christian was actually just trying to let her know this information. So, because of how close he is with her, and that they tried to tell her, but they didn't have the time, and that's why she found out right beforehand, and that they are 100% with each other. I think after that moment, Emily's realizing, I screwed up. I cannot turn on Christian. Like, Christian actually has my back. Now, do I think she's a chaotic player and will mess up Christian's game, whether it's trying to vote him out or not? Yes, 100%. But I think in just pure loyalty aspect, at this point in the game, I think that Emily is going to have Christian's back more than Mike would prioritize Christian. Um, and so I do understand where Christian's coming from in why you want to protect Emily. Now, I don't necessarily think that targeting Mike was the right move, but I do think that not voting out Emily was the right move in this
Mm.
scenario.
I see where you're coming from. I see. So on that, like, I understand, like, oh, like, let's keep Emily around. That's your number one. So why break up Mike and Angelina when there's Stephanie and Ozzy right there? Like
Uh-huh.
I see this, and instead of get it going for Mike, why don't you guys all band together and get Stephanie out? Like, clearly she's like a non-member, like a not like a important vocal member of the tribe. So why would you? And like I get his danger level, but like you want the meat shield. You want someone you can get out later who's like ahead of you in terms of like the pecking, like people see as threats. So
I
um
just wonder if they did want to vote out Mike going down the line because I feel like no one would want to vote for Mike at the end. What if that would just help Mike get to the end if people did
that
trust him?
that's the game he played last time though. It's like, oh, look at me. I'm already like successful. I'm just here to have a fun time. Like
True.
I'm a threat. Like that's the game he's played. People know this. And like if we're thinking about this, I'm sure the people who are on the show who've spent years watching it, playing it, have already had this thought. So
Hmm.
I mean, yes, I see that, but I think they're better to let him do that twice. And if he did that twice, then he deserves to win at that point. But I don't think they would let him do that twice. So I think he'd be easy, like merge or like mid-merge boot, and you can work with him until then. But I think by doing this, I think Christian is setting up him to fall probably around merge, mid-merge. I don't think he is someone who's gonna go far in the game, partly
Okay.
because I think his threat level is just way too high. He is just like he's amassed such he's like he's controlling all the votes. He's doing so much. So yeah, I don't know. That's just my take on it. Maybe I could be wrong. I could be very wrong. Maybe he'll go on to the end, but I just think it's a little too it's a little too big.
Yeah, I also think
Early.
that a big reason why Christian wanted to do this move is, I mean, I think he's probably thinking that Mike is more of a mastermind than Angelina and wanted to break them up because he knows that even if those three are working together, when push comes to shove, Mike will choose Angelina, Angelina will choose Mike. Christian is no matter what at the bottom of that three. And I think Christian feels like he's at the top of the Devons Emily three. And so I think he's thinking like I'm in a great position right now to not go home pre-merge or at least until the next tribe swap. So I need to keep as many close allies who will prioritize me as possible. And I think Emily will at this point in the game prioritize Christian. But Mike and Angelina will prioritize themselves over Christian. And I think that's
That's a
something he
good
was also
point.
thinking about.
Also, like you're right, and like if you look back at David versus Goliath, Mike was kind of the reason why Christian got voted out.
Yeah, he 100% was. Yeah, he was.
Yeah. So, I see what you're saying because like on one hand, like yes, they played together, but they're also the reasons they got out. So I'm sure like it's also kind of what we're talking about, the past haunting the narrative. I'm
Mhm.
sure it's something and he's thought about like, oh, I didn't get to the end because those two were close and banded together. I can't let that happen to me again. I can't let this duo get further than they need to go. Because they both are kind of charming in different ways, Angelina and Mike. Like and they are able to like get move things along. More Mike than Angelina, but
Right.
I see what you're saying, and and you're right. I don't think they'd have Christian's best interests at heart before theirs.
Hmm.
Um, so I guess we only can tell on what only time will tell on like what's gonna happen. But
Yeah. And
yeah,
I
we'll see.
also think about the whole idea that they are the David and Goliath three.
Yes.
If they did stick together and somehow make it to the next stage in the game, tribe swap, merge, whatever, um, and they were all still there, people are thinking like, oh my God, like this is a three in a game where that is very powerful. They are going to, and it's like a very obvious, like out there three. So I think people are gonna be like, wow, the three David versus Goliaths are still here. There must be a reason for that. They're probably all working together. Let's get one of them out. And there's a chance that there's two ways of thinking from the other players. One is let's break up Mike and Angelina, and one is Christian's the biggest threat out of all three of them. And so there's a
Mm,
chance Christian could have been targeted because he's the most strategic player in the David versus Goliath 3 if they were able to make it out of this tribe swap together. And so I think he's also thinking that like if I'm going to have a better chance of moving forward, I need to um, distance myself from the David and Goliath 3 so that I don't get targeted as being a part of that. And so that could also be part of his thinking of like, I need to show people that I'm working with them and I'm not going to prioritize the David and Goliath 3 over them. And I think this is definitely building trust with Stephanie, which I did not expect at all. Like, I'm very curious to see how that's going to work because you're right. I felt like Stephanie and Ozzy were working together. Stephanie just got blindsided, yet she seems like she's going to do whatever Christian says, which is very interesting. So it's either Stephanie is going to do whatever the last person said, or that we are not seeing the behind the scenes of Christian's relationship with Stephanie, and that it's actually so close because Christian has been involved in all three plans that Stephanie said yes to. She
mhm.
was Christian and Stephanie both said yes to Angelina. Then they both said yes to Emily, and they both said yes to Mike. So I wonder if there is that Christian Stephanie relationship that we're not really seeing, that they actually are working closely together, and it's less so Stephanie just doing whatever the last plan is, and it's more so like Christian, what are we doing?
Interesting. I think that's a good point. And I'm glad he's building trust with Stephanie, but like let's I want to think about it in the future. Um, he has Emily, Stephanie in this tribe of five, and there's Ozzy and Angelina left, right?
And he kind of has Ozzy in a way, but not after this vote.
No, I mean like I wrote about this. Ozzy's too late. He goes, I can explain. He goes, too late. You
Right.
know, and like I that's kind of that's what I love about Survivor. You know, like the strategy aspect's fun, but like when human beings are like annoyed, ticked off, or there's emotions involved, that's when I think it gets like the heart of like kind of like this is what Mike White was saying as well. I think me and him probably view the game in a very similar lens. He likes the human element of it. You know, like.
Hmm.
I think I don't know if you watched. Can we talk about Exit Press here?
Yeah, yeah.
Have you seen any of his Exit Press? A little bit here and there.
A little bit. I just know that Mike and Christian have not spoken
Yes.
since that that tribal council,
Yeah.
which I think is very interesting.
That's a lot, right? And you're like,
Yeah.
oh wow, they've not spoken. So that's a big thing. But he also spoke about how like one thing that he likes, what he likes about Survivor is like it's like what it brings out of us as humans, you know. And he mentioned how like watching Rick Devens and Christian like plant that fake idol. He goes, I don't find that fun. Because it's not like, you know, which I don't know. I'm like kind of on the fence of I see like it being fun, but I also see it like it's taking away from this human element of the game. Like Ozzy's ticked off. Let's see how you're gonna navigate that. A lot of early Survivor, and even like even I think I would argue, oh, it still like happens in modern day, but like it's all about your emotions and how like things impact you and relationships impact you and like these things a vote out or like whatever um alters your emotional state and how that affects your relationships. And we're gonna say with Ozzy, Ozzy's ticked off. That's gonna, I'm sure, affect his relationships. And I'm damn sure they're gonna end up in tribal again because they got rid of one of the two of the strongest men in the tribe who was Mike White. Um, and we'll see how that affects the tribal council going forward. But I think these are things to like think about when navigating the game. And I think when you're too game body, which I think honestly Christian is a little too game body. I think he forgets that emotions are very much important part of the game. He's lost Ozzy, you know? So, I don't know. I guess we'll see how it goes forward, but yeah, I'm excited to see Ozzy's like, emotional aspect of this.
Yeah, me too. And I definitely am curious who the second tribe going to tribal will be next week because just from me reading the scenes from the next episode, the fact that they're talking about Operation Bloodbath, don't create an operation name if they're not going to enact it. Like they are going to tribal for sure, Charlie and Rizzo. But who's going to be the second tribe? Is it and will an idol be played? Because we have Aubrey on the bottom. She has an idol. If they go to tribal, that probably is coming out. And then we have
Ozzy.
Ozzy with an idol, and he is really pissed off. What if everyone is so like, oh my God, like Ozzy is so pissed off. There's no way we can work with him anymore. We're probably getting to a tribe swap like after this vote or something like that, or very soon afterwards. We already lost our muscle, and we even with him, we still lost by a lot. Like we probably should just vote him out at this point. And then Ozzy plays an idol. Who is he the most pissed at? That probably is going to be who is him and Angelina the most pissed at. Because that could be interesting. Ozzy's going after Angelina one round, and then now they're both on
They're
the bottom,
together.
and now they're working together to get out somebody that they didn't trust or like was against them. Could it be Christian? Could they finally be going after Emily because Ozzy like thought he had a good relationship with Emily and now like they lied. I don't know, but that's also an interesting thing that I wanted to ask you about. What is up with this Ozzy Emily relationship? Emily is gun ho on targeting Ozzy in the first tribe they were together. And then now Emily is so upset with the idea of not telling Ozzy about the vote that she almost exposes the vote to Ozzy when her life is on the line, and that could possibly result in her still going home by revealing this because Ozzy is so close to Mike, closer than probably Emily. So then Ozzy would probably tell Mike the whole plan would go awry, and it could possibly result in Emily going home. So I'm very curious what you think about that relationship, how it bloomed. Is it a real thing? Like, I don't know.
That's a great question. I don't think I've thought much about it, but I'll take a second. I think honestly just goes to show Emily's chaotic nature, where she is one day and where she is the next day. You can't tell. So she
Yeah.
was very gung-ho against Ghazi now, and now she's, I said, working with him, about to blow up her game for him. Um, was like, oh, he wants to vote Angelina, we should vote out Angelina. So I don't know. I think this is where I think like I don't know if Emily's as good of a player as people put out. I think she actually she's very chaotic, and I think her emotions guide her more than she thinks they do.
Yeah. And she
Uh
doesn't have Caleb.
no, exactly.
She needs Caleb.
She needs like these social like compass to almost guide her. But she does not have this like person who is very clearly their social and emotional game is like A1. She is clearly very lost. Like, I mean, look at her tribe right now. There's no, I think, social compass on there. There's Mike White was one, I would argue, gone now, you know. Angelina is not like that. She's notoriously better at social game. Christian, I think I don't think like he's the best at social game either. I think he was good, but I think there's cracks this season, which he didn't have in David vs. Goliath.
Hmm.
Ozzy's like not like the best social. These are not like social players, I'd argue. And I think without having a social player around her, she's floundering. Because she needs that to ground her, and there's no one to ground her right now.
Right.
So, and I think it'd be Ozzy's the closest person in that regard. I don't know. I'm very confused on her gameplay, honestly. She is a lot more chaotic than I ever expected her to be, and a lot more irrational as well. So I'm excited to see how it goes out, but she's definitely going to be a person to watch out, for sure. What are your thoughts on Emily Flippin?
Oh, Emily is I don't think a good game player at all. I think she has a better social game. She knows now how to like connect with people, and I think she is good at bringing people in. Obviously, to the point of it's so obvious she's not going to be good for your game, but you still don't want to vote her out. She has very heavily increased her social game. However, I don't think she has quite that strategic game that I feel like, should have with her being very smart. You know, she's a financial analyst, and I feel like, has a good mind for the game generally. So you would think that she would be a good strategic player, but there's certain moves that she's making that she's going more off emotion than strategically. And then after the fact, she's like, oh, shoot, I should not have done this move. It was not the best move for me. But she's able to recover because she still has people who trust her, or she's good at talking with people. So she's definitely improved socially. But I think she has continued keeping her emotions above her strategic game, which I think is definitely going to hurt her long term. I don't think she has a chance of winning this game. Um, but I'm just curious, will she get out before she screws her allies up? Um, and I feel like she will get voted out after at least one ally getting screwed over because of her.
I agree with you.
Um,
I completely agree with this assessment. Yes.
yeah,
Yeah, here's one thing I find interesting. Just because someone's a financial analyst or is doing like a hard job or like a more numbers job does not necessarily mean they're smart or strategic. They're really
right.
smart in a very specific way, you know?
She
And
also
that,
sucks at puzzles.
right? So like she probably has, I'm like everyone has intelligence, but like I think like the intelligence she has is not translating well to this game right now.
Right.
I mean, it's a great character to watch. I would never want to play with her.
I
And
wish Emily and Q were. Oh wait, they were on a tribe together. I was
yeah.
like, wait a second, because they putting those two together is just, this is so great.
You know
Such a
what
great
Emily
combo.
reminds me of a bit?
Who?
Casey from Bradford.
Yes, yes, 100%. Yes, anyone who watches Survivor Brantford will understand. No, Casey is definitely
A
a
little
chaotic
chaotic.
player. Um, and I love watting Casey on
I love
Brantford.
Casey. Oh my God, I played with her, and honestly, playing with her was great. But like there's like some similarities I see. They're just both a little like
I
chaotic.
totally see that. Yeah,
Mhm.
I can
But
see the similarities.
yeah, I'm glad your eyes you when I said that you're like, oh, I saw it and click, and I was like,
Yep.
yes.
Hmm.
But I don't know, I want to talk about tribal a bit real quick. Uh, at the watch party, there's an audible gasp when Mike White was voted out. Like literally, it was like, oh, everyone was shocked, and it was so much fun to like watch it in that setting. You should come if you're ever around New Haven. We watch
Yeah,
every
I'd love to.
um, but there's a line that Mike White said. I mean, Mike White's a writer. I think he knows people better than most people. He's so much fun to listen to him speak. He goes, "There's some people I'd rather lose with than win with," which I just felt was like that's not, I think, the mentality most people go into this game with. People just want to win the game, and he's like, "I'd rather lose with people I care about than win with people I don't care about." And I think it's a refreshing attitude to have in a returning season. Um, and I think it goes to show a lot about who he is as a character. And I just wanted to highlight that line because it spoke to me a lot. Because when I play, I also was like, I'd rather like win with my friends than like have my alliances voted out and like then feel like this is all shitty, you know?
Yeah,
So
and that has screwed me
I,
up in the past in games where, like, I have to go back and forth on, I think I have a better chance of winning against my enemy, but if they happen to win, I'll be more upset with them beating me than my ally beating me. So, like, do I risk my game by having a harder time winning at the end, but knowing that whoever wins, I'll be happy with the winner? Or do I try to win for myself, but that could possibly result in someone I don't want winning? Um, so yeah,
agreed,
it's definitely tough.
right? I mean, like in Brantford, I was like, I'd rather like play with Tim than like, not play without him. And I think he felt a similar way, but at one point he goes, damn, Sara's not here. This sucks. And it's like, I think you'd rather play with your alliances. So I think I think that sentence added a lot of heart and soul into an emotion into the game that I think sometimes people like who are game body forget about. Like I think Christian is not someone who thinks like that, you know?
Hmm.
So yeah, I thought I wanted to shout out Mike for that. I mean, Mike White is such a loss to like get voted out so early. I made a note. He during the challenge when like Mike what's his name? Jeff is like talking about one tribe's gonna go to like the go get like the reward. One tribe's gonna be safe. One tribe's gonna go to tribal council. And Mike White goes, "Why are you looking at us?" Great moment, but he's like the only one who has the balls to kind of like speak back to Jeff like that, you know, because
Yeah.
it's here. So I don't know. I think it's sad to lose such a incredible character. So I'm happy to be talking about this because I love Mike White. But sad to see him go.
Yeah. Yeah. I agree. I think he would have been some good TV in future episodes. But I also know that it had to be between Emily and Mike, and I do feel like Emily is going to cause more chaos and will be very interesting to watch. So it's tough when it's season 50 because most of the time the two people it's between it'll be a loss one way or another because the cast is so great. Um, I personally didn't feel that way for Jenna because I didn't really care about Jenna going home. But
Yeah.
other than
I
that,
like
like
Jenna.
you like Jenna?
Well, I just think she's from the first season, you know. I
Hmm.
just like I appreciated that aspect of her. And I think like she's very old school. So and like she's trying to keep up with the new school pace. So I thought like seeing her for a bit would be interesting. So I was very upset to see her go. I don't care for Stephanie. Girl, she could go. But
I
that's
mean, I
my
don't care about Stephanie either. You're right.
yeah, like among everyone, like Stephanie, Jonathan, I don't really care too much for. But yeah,
I love Jonathan. I don't want him to win, but I do want to see him on my screen for longer. I think he brings an interesting dynamic to the game that we don't usually see.
that's
Um,
true. That is
like
true.
he's like the provider, but like he's a provider who's good at immunity challenges, who I feel like should be a threat, but isn't. Like I feel like people want to keep him around because he's not as strategic, and they kind of like focus more on that side of things rather than the fact that he could win a lot of immunities. Um, which I think is interesting, like completely different than like Joe Anglim, who is just like amazing at challenges, good social competitor and social threat, and like is always targeted immediately after he loses. I could see Jonathan again making a run very far into this game if he is working with the people who happen to have the power in the game. Uh,
For sure, I see that. I just still think he's a great social player, and I think of like
I
his
don't think so
right.
either.
And
Yeah.
like I think specifically, I'm gonna bring gender into this. I think it's like a bit of a gender thing. I don't think the women actually appreciated the way he spoke to them. Lindsay
Hmm.
spoke about this during a confessional. She goes, I don't like the way Jonathan like speaks down to me almost. You know, so I think like I think that's part of the reason why he goes so far because people just like will put up with him. You know, like they know he's gonna win a lot, sure, but no one actually thinks he's gonna win the game because it's like, oh, why would I vote for someone who like spoke down to me? You know,
Right.
so I think that's why he goes so far. And he is for sure interesting. And I hope that he's changed his ways from like 4 years ago, that he's not making people feel this way now, because there's growth that happens all the time. You know, like
Hmm.
maybe he saw that and realized he shouldn't be like this anymore. So, you know, hopefully that's a change. But I think that's part of the reason why he goes as far as he does. I don't think people just see him as I said, like Joe is a charming man. Like I'm sure like he has like the charisma and like this pull towards him. You can sense from the screen, you know? Like I look at Joe and I'm like, damn, like I want to be his best friend, but you don't sense that from Jonathan, you know?
Hmm. Yeah, I get that. Also, I'm wondering who Mike White is gonna have on White Lotus.
Okay, I saw recently that there are going to be Survivor cameos this season, and they're filming it I think now. But they've not announced who it's going to be, so I guess we'll have to find out. Also, just like some extra conspiracy stuff, they announced a lot of the cast of White Lotus the day before Mike White was voted out. Like on Tuesday before, they released four more people who are going to be on the show, and then they're like kind of big characters. Like Kumail Nanjiani's going to be on there. It's going to be Chloe Bennett. She was like on Agents of Shield, and like two other characters who I don't know that well. But
Yeah, the guy who played Schmidt
oh, this is
on
Max
New
Greenfield.
Girl, Max Greenfield.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah. So like those are kind of big actors, I'd argue. So I think it was purposely done, knowing Mike White was gonna leave on Wednesday, so he can talk about like Survivor and the White Lotus together.
smart.
So I mean, it makes sense.
Awesome.
Working in the media industry, like people know these things, and it's like all about like this drops, this happens, like it's going to create hub like a lot of like hubbub around Survivor and the White Lotus and Mike White, and
Yep.
it's a perfect marketing opportunity, you know. So I do think it was a very pointed choice for them to release that cast the day before. Just so some food for thought.
Yeah, and I also think it's interesting that I was really honestly hoping that this would somehow come to fruition, and it did. It wasn't really shown because a lot of preseason press isn't brought into the game. It's just in your mind it is, but like not in confessionals or anything. But when Emily Flippin was asked about Mike White, she said that he would be a foe and was like, why is he even here? And then the interviewer is laughing, and then she's like, no, like seriously, like why is he even here on this cast? Like what is he doing here? And pretty much saying that like the first chance she gets, she's going to try to vote him out because he everyone is just going to be sucking up to him, trying to get on the White Lotus, and she does
Yeah,
not care about that. And so to see her be one of the people to vote out Mike, I was kind of after seeing that like preseason interview from her, like hoping that they would be on the same tribe to see if Emily would actually try to get Mike out. And surprisingly, it wasn't her idea. It was Christian's, but the fact that she was able to easily hop on that, save herself, get Mike out, I thought it was an interesting full circle moment from preseason interviews.
for sure. Yeah, that's a good point. Speaking of preseason interviews, I want to bring up one last thing.
Hmm.
I think I mean, as all returning seasons happen, there's a lot of pre-gaming that happens, you know. And one thing, I don't know if you keep up with RHAP that much, but they do this thing called like Blood on the Clock Tower, like Survivors play Blood on the Clock Tower, social deduction game. And Christian and Emily play that game a lot together. Um, so I think their
Okay.
audience goes further than just them like meeting on this beach. They've like interacted, played games together for quite a while at this point. In
Okay. That
fact,
makes
in one
sense.
of the know-it-alls, Stephen Fishback, he talks about how he's like they have not talked about the Blood on the Clock Tower Alliance. Like he mentioned this, knowing because like he plays with them as well, and like he's played with both of them, knowing that they like play together and are similar in that way. So I think there is a lot of pre-gaming that we don't know and sense that is definitely impacting what's happening on the beach. You know, I think the Christian and Emily, why he wants to keep her in does go a little further than just like, let's get rid of Mike, but like maybe like they've developed more of a friendship in the last year and a half of playing this game together. So, yeah, that's kind of I just wanted like to because I pre-gaming always impacts returning seasons, you know? And I think that's definitely one thing that is important to talk about to just fully understand what's going on. Because without
Yeah.
doing that, you're gonna like have some gaps in like why this happened, you know?
Right. And speaking of which, that actually reminded me of another preseason alliance I heard about is that there is an honor and integrity alliance that
Zoom.
was preseason, which is the three honor integrity people on the same beach, Joe, Colby, and Coach. And then there's also Jonathan and there's also Stephanie. So those five have a preseason alliance. Three of them are on the same tribe together, so that was honestly perfect for them. But if Stephanie and Jonathan can make it to the next phase of the game and they all end up together, look out for that because that will be an alliance working together some way or somehow. So if there's an ally turning on an ally because they are all on the same beach together, you know it's probably because of that preseason alliance.
Yeah, that's a good point. That's I think it's called the Zoom Alliance. I've also heard of.
Oh yeah, I think that's what it was called, the Zoom Alliance, but like
Yeah.
Zoom slash Honor Integrity Alliance.
Yeah, because they were meeting up on Zoom and chatting about this. Yeah, I it's that alliance is gonna anger me. Oh my gosh. I mean, Camilla's done with honor and integrity. She had a whole season of that, as she said.
I need to see her like deceiving people so bad. Like she deserves it. She really deserves it.
Please, I need her. I need. She's on the yellow orange tribe, right? I need her to make it.
Uh-huh.
Um, yeah, I it's it's how. Let me think of what I'm trying to say. It makes sense why they don't talk about it in the game because it kind of like breaks the meta, but at the same time, it does impact the game, you know?
Hmm.
Yeah. So I guess we'll see how the those pregame things like affect the game going. I mean, we're still quite early, right? Like it is 4 episodes in, but I said we have 19 people left. So It's
It's
a
still
lot.
so crazy. Like, is it going to be a double boot every episode? Like, they could have totally done a double boot every episode so far. Like, they did not need to do any singles. They could have just had a nice, quick and easy pre-merge, and then gotten to the merge and done maybe one, possibly two doubles, and then all singles from there. Like, started at 13, done two doubles, and just been a bunch of singles at the merge. Because I feel like people care more about the merge than the pre-merge. Like I know you want to maybe the first couple episodes like not have too many boots so that you can have more time developing the characters for people watching, but the gameplay is usually rewarded at the end for mostly merge moves rather than pre-merge moves. So I feel like you should let people play the game more and have less doubles in the merge section rather than the pre-merge. Because the pre-merge you just need good connections and it's a fast-paced game anyway. So you should be able to make those connections within the first few days and then be able to prepare yourself for constant doubles because it's not like you're splitting up a big tribe into two and then bringing them back together or constantly splitting them up. It's just one tribe. You're given like a day or two to make connections with people. You've now made the alliances. Okay, now we're going to tribal a bunch of times. Make sure you're in a good spot, and it's like more fast paced. And I think they should have done that more preseason because I have no idea what they're gonna do going forward.
Yeah, no, fully agreed. It's interesting. You bring this up, the merge versus pre-merge. I think a lot of the aspect of the pre-merge just get to the merge. I think being
Yeah.
too flashy in the pre-merge is gonna put a target on your back, which is why I'm worried for Christian, right? Exactly reason
Hmm.
why just doing too much in an early part of the game, where I think the whole point in the early part of the game is just build alliances and like conceal yourself and insulate yourself and keep moving forward. But he is like the head honcho right now. So agreed with you in like a lot of what you're saying with the pre-merge and merge. And I just think yeah, I think the ideal gameplay for a pre-merge just to be like, just kind of ride the flow and not put attention on you. Because the more attention you get, your threat's only gonna grow later on.
Right. Exactly. All right. Well, Sarah, thank you so much for helping me to analyze and recap episode 4 of Survivor 50. It's been great having you on. I hope you get to come on for a future podcast.
Let me know. I'm
Also,
around. Come
hmm
stop by our watch party, Stephen. We'll love to
okay,
have
awesome.
you.
Yeah, I would love to.
Thank you so much for having me on this podcast. It was so much fun to talk about this. I had a blast. Thank you so much, genuinely.
Of course, of course. All right. So, everyone watching, thank you so much. Please like and subscribe, and we will see you guys next time for episode 5, the double elimination of Survivor 50. See you guys.